grown up, um, not just with me, but I feel like with a lot of other people. I feel like we currently, in the generation we are, I'm 29, and a lot of other people, obviously around my age, um, we kind of grow into this ignorant state where we don't want to change because it's just what we're used to. And the video this time is growth, and I want to talk about it through my experience with growth. I want to talk about how you need to always find a new way to perfect yourself mentally and socially. Growing up in the area I am, it is very likely that a lot of people will refuse to change because of how they were raised. And they use that excuse as if it's a reason to refuse to adapt to anything outside of it. And it blows my mind when that happens, because a lot of people will be fed this information and they will become incredibly opinionated on things that they're only told, not things that they experience or things that they learn from, but like you know the generation of older people that you know, they want to cement the one idea into their children's head, and then those children either grow to break that cycle where they notice the red flags in their family, or they just accept how they are because generations before them were. And I feel like we use those as a lot of reasons. We use those as examples for a lot of reasons to stay in that habit. And some examples are, say a grandparent who was successful financially raised someone the same exact way, but there were no, how would I word it? There's not a lot of growth. They would look up to that person, and base the respect they have on that person based on like success or just their hard attitude. I don't know, but I always feel like there are people that look up to the wrong people for all the wrong reasons. Like, success isn't that important. Money isn't that important. A good personality, a steady mind, a happy life, all those simple things. And how you treat others is a very big stepping stone in what needs to be happening in society. And I feel like because of how close we are to certain generations of people, we're still in that phase. We're still like trying to break that cycle. We're not quite there yet. And lately, the recent generations we have, I appreciate so much because they are actually trying to break that cycle. They're trying to like socially fight back the ignorance. And I like that. I like it whenever you need a bunch of new people nowadays to basically push back the ideals that the previous generation has pushed. It's so rebellious, and I love it. I love it because we've come so far in accepting others, and the only thing holding us back are those ignorant people. And I'll be real with you, it gives us a bad taste in our mouth whenever people refuse to change. They don't. It's like they don't want to. That you think you're so content with how you are that you find no reason to change whatsoever, and it pisses me off so much, because you're not helping us at all. You're not helping any future renovations. You're like either halfway through or almost done, and you are so caught up in your old ways that you refuse to learn from anything, and you become this very stubborn entity. And I promise you, you're only holding back everyone else. Um, Growing up, I'll use examples. We'll use examples of just like race and race, color, gay shaming, game shaming. I grew up with a lot, and that was here's where that growth comes in. Growing up, hearing those words get thrown around so much without even really knowing the meaning, and being surrounded by people that are so caught up in that hate, like adults that you're supposed to be looking up to when you're younger. And over time, creating your own opinions on those same topics, you're basically fighting against the hate. There's no reason to be hating these people. They just have all these made up scenarios in their brains to hate gays, trans, colored for no reason. They just base it off of things they've heard because they're idiots the whole time. They will just be bred into being morons. And oh god, even like sexism is still real, and I don't even understand how that is, because I've met a lot of amazing people who are all for equality, and it took growing and learning from society in general to become better versions of themselves just due to acceptance, which again is something so many people refuse to do. And I know that sounds stupid. It sounds so dumb for people that understand now how accepting everyone is of other people. Like it's just so natural. You care about the pronouns. It doesn't affect you whatsoever. Your friends can be gay. Your friends can be trans, and it doesn't even sometimes it doesn't even hit you that they are. That is how big of a deal it is to understand where everyone's coming from in each generation compared to the old one to get to this point. There is absolutely no reason for hate towards anyone, and I'll use this as an example. What was I gonna say? I'll use an example. Growing up, the only real reason I would hate a certain group, again, this is the learning process. This is preteen me. This is going into my teen years. This is being bred into that ignorance that I'm talking about. The only hate I learned was from others. I had no factual reason to hate anyone growing up. And yet here I was, an ignorant asshole in my teens, thinking wrongly of others only because the adults I was supposed to look up to for advice on anything just hated to hate. And they'd have every reason to hate. You could have one bad experience with somebody or two people, but guess what? There's millions of them, and they're not all like that. And it really fucks with the minority of people who don't understand that growing up, because they are just feeding off that hate. Like, it somehow feels right. It feels natural to dislike or just like verbally attack people to the point where you think they're lessers because of how you were raised. Like I said, we do not naturally hate. That is 100% something that you need to be, like, you need to at least have been surrounded yourself with. Then growing up, I realized how stupid that was. Like, I was hating I was hating a bunch of people for no damn reason. And that is nuts to me, looking back. And that is where the growth comes in. You needed to be there to experience it, to understand how far you've come. And it is insane how willing we are to just let that happen. Like I said, we are in a better generation now. We're making progress. We're not there yet, We're not there yet for the sake of a lot of this hate still existing, whether it's media manipulation, whether it's those same people that do not want to change still broadcasting their dislike and hate towards so many people that they either never met, don't understand, or just have no fucking business talking to. You know, like you can have fun in your little old people homes, your middle class situations, whatever, and just reject the idea that society is moving on without you. Then you can do that. Whatever, you can do that. But like I said, the new generation is not all about that. You are creating a cycle of problems that you are so like you just act like dipshits about the whole time. You don't want to accept new things. That's not how I was raised. Fuck how you were raised, because honestly, you were raised pretty incorrectly. Unless you're being taught respect for others and how to create an original opinion on things, and just the love that every single person naturally has for one another. You could be. I've met great people. I've met great people who are still very opinionated on groups that have nothing to do with them, and they will base it off experiences, just based on a few experiences, not even a wide group. Like here we are with how you feel about this based on something that happened to you, and you automatically think it's everybody. Everyone's like that. Growing up, like I said, you're surrounded by it, and it's like the only way you go about thinking, and it's a lot of accepting that you're wrong, and that goes for me every day. That goes for everybody. You are constantly learning new things and how to handle them, and if there comes just like misinformation or dislike towards anyone for no reason, like it needs to go past the fact that you were raised in it. You need to watch people, those people specifically, just love naturally. They have the same day-to-day life as you, and it should get you thinking. And if you ignore it, then you are a big problem. You are a huge red flag in a cesspool of already pre-existing problems. And don't even get me started on... I'm going to say this. I am more of a female dude. I enjoy the friendship of a lot of females, chicks, women, all my friends. The majority of my friends are women, and they are incredible people. And sometimes, whenever they finally get to open up about a lot of topics that they can't just naturally talk about with other guys like their age, a little bit older, a little bit younger, you see all the douchebags come out. And it is calling out a lot of men and their issues, and I don't care if it's very anti-men with that topic. A lot of hate comes from men. And I'm not saying it doesn't not come from women as well. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's a constant circle of hate. And that's where you are in this little tiny bubble that you've created for yourself and your lives. And then here we are progressing in a spiral elsewhere, going upward. And you want to stay where you are. You're fine with this little hell that you've created for yourself. And then people will live their whole lives like that. They will live their whole lives ignorant. And they will just refuse to learn new things. They will have children and grandchildren that will date outside their color. Or end up gay. All that fun stuff. And it doesn't click in my head anymore. Now, when I was younger, obviously, I thought differently because I was taught differently. And then as I grew up, I realized how much hate I was being taught. And it really helped me break free and grow into who I want to be, and I'm not done yet. Like I said, I'm only 29. There is so much learning I am aware I need to do. There is learning when it comes to relationships and how you should take what you have to learn. You have to learn from previous relationships, other people's relationships, anything that you can grasp and wrap your head around. You need to slowly accept, understand, and learn from so many different points of view to find what is perfect for you. I have seen men babied by their mothers to the point where they still think that the woman is the lesser, despite taking care of the grown man baby their whole lives, and you're going to mistreat women the whole time. You could have a bad experience with a woman or two, and somehow that gives you every right to disrespect almost every single one past that, or the instinct that men have had, where based on their trauma, they assume they have every right to traumatize another human being, because that's all it is. We're all human beings. Ignore the gender, ignore the color, ignore the sex, ignore all that crap. We are all just people. And there's a lot of good people out here too. Ones that are willing to accept everything that everyone's been through and be there for them. Because everyone is, like I said, naturally loving and caring. And we live in such an uptight society, and some families and other people, they will hold you back. They will mold your mind into this toxic person that you're not meant to be. You're never done learning, and you're never done growing. You need to think of things for yourself. Do not take all the wrong... If something feels wrong, once you actually sit down and talk about it, that's instinct. That is you realizing there is something wrong with it. And believe it or not, there are so many people that will not accept that. They will ignore it completely. Hate groups, everyone. They will ignore it. They don't think it's a problem. They don't think it's a problem with how they act. They don't want to treat every single person like an equal. Everyone has a history. And everyone has led up to who they're becoming through all these experiences. Everyone is experiencing different things, but we all can relate on certain things that nowadays, shit sucks. And you know what else sucks? People making it suck. Let's not ignore that. We could talk about government all day, but that's not just the only problem. It is the constant dislike for others that this is about, and the lack of growth that people, they, like I said, they're okay. They think they're okay acting the way they do. Everyone who I have referenced or talked about that is ignorant, they think they're okay, and they're just so oblivious to the problems that they bring on to others. It's a continuation thing. It's just a cycle that keeps fucking happening, dude. It doesn't stop until you stop and realize, I am mistreating people. I am spreading misinformation based on my own experiences, which are not everybody's experiences. You could have one person with a bad experience with one person, but someone else could actually enjoy that person for what they are, or who they are. It doesn't matter. It's just like a plague. It spreads and it spreads, and there are people who will stop that. And that's another reason why I love the generation that I'm in right now, because I think I'm a millennial. 29 being a millennial. I'm like on the in-between. I'm like on the fence where I get to see the younger generation accept so many things at such a younger age, and then older people who act like they know better because they've been around longer, with the lack of knowledge of how this current generation works. So but here I am, like, growing into it, and also watching the toxic traits of a lot of others that would be older than me. and it feels good. It feels good. Um, like I said, also being raised into arrogance, and picking up on things on TV, just what I'm told. It was not enough. It always felt wrong, but you're young. You don't know how to speak up on that ever. And that was the point I wanted to make. We're all constantly growing, and the people who are choosing to grow should definitely stick together. We are a rare kind. We are the minority in that subject. And at some point, if we really push that issue on acceptance, open-mindedness, love, care towards everyone, the quicker we can mold the next generations into just not perfect, but better than where we're coming from. Because obviously there will come a time where the older generations who were raised hard asses, who don't think they need to express their feelings because of how just sheltered they are. I don't know what it is. Did you guys not have someone to love you properly growing up? Because it feels like that might be the issue. You need to talk more about your feelings. Now, the whole time it really feels like I'm talking shit on all these other people. But here's the thing, too. Those specific people also need to talk about their feelings. I don't know what, like I said, closed off shell you've crafted yourself. You didn't come like that. You put it up yourself. You took in all your emotions. All you know is rage, and you bottle. And you need to talk more about your feelings, and you need to not worry so much about you opening up to someone or two people and them thinking differently of you. Like I said, now this is me saying, just keep an open mind with this specific thing. Do not be afraid to be judged. I open up to nearly every single friend I've made my whole life. I've tried to open up and take in new information and learn from everything. I'm not attached to the fact that, like, oh, I told someone and now we don't talk anymore. That's not the outlet that I'm trying to do. It is me being able to learn how to express myself better and better and better with each new person. So much traumatic storytelling I can do about my life, and taking in information from theirs, opening up about your issues. So the point I'm making with that is, do not close yourself off. Do not remain arrogant the entire time. Talk more. You are a person. You belong with the rest of us. We're all in this. We're all on the same rock. No one's better than anyone. And the people who think they're better than others are beneath you. They are not in a position to say they're better. Money is not going to be that important later on. It's just what's been forced onto us to believe that it's an absolute thing we need, when all we need is love and care and, dude, fucking food and water. I don't fucking know. We're not in control of that. Like I said, that's a whole different topic. Do not remain arrogant, is what I'm saying. And when I say that, I don't mean it in an offensive way. I'm saying it as in my generation, who believes the last few generations are right. Have you ever sat there and nitpicked what is wrong? Or do you just accept that because of the emotional attachment you have to that older figure? Because that's not always going to be the case. You could look up to a lot of people, but a lot of people can also be bastards. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can balance the pros and cons of what's wrong and what's right with all of that. So, the whole point of this one, I think, was just acceptance, open-mindedness, no hate for anyone. If someone did you dirty, sure, but don't, like, attack that type of person. There's so much learning to be done with all of us. We're learning every single day. I just dislike how some people refuse to. They don't want to learn from their mistakes. They don't want to. They don't want to grow into the next best version of themselves. And I'm gonna tell you this now: it doesn't stop. Okay, it does not stop. You keep getting better with each and every day. Whenever you let those feelings and thoughts eat away at you, you are learning so much. The more you think about it, the more you adjust. The more acceptance you have for certain issues. I've gone over a lot of things that have torn me apart, and all it took was time and thinking about it to slowly turn myself into a better version of myself. I can work, I can have money, but my mental health and my overall well-being towards myself and others is very, very important. Success almost feels like nothing because everyone's version of success is the amount of stuff they own, the amount of money they've put aside, the quality of the things they have. That is not how I base success. Success to me is incredible friendships, soul bonding experiences with others, beautiful personalities. Those are the things you remember. I don't remember half the shit I bought or half the stuff I own. And I promise you, even if one day I make it out and end up a lot more financially stable, I promise you I'm going to value the free time I have and the time I want to give others, the ones that deserve it. Do not fall under that little cycle where you are so caught up in who you think you are that you refuse to learn from anything. Because I promise you it's a beautiful experience. Doesn't matter how big your house is or how nice your car is. If your personality is garbage, it's garbage, dude. And we need to come out of that. We need to get out of that soon. So, thank you all for listening. That one was a little more different. That was just my opinion on that. But I'm still going to add a little song at the end. Thank you for listening. And I need to find a new topic to talk about next time. So if anyone wants to feed me some information or questions or how I feel, or if anyone wants to join me in this sad little room I have and talk about something that's bugging you, let's have a discussion about it. Put your face out there. Those deep conversations you have with yourself, talk about them. Do not close yourself off. You are an amazing person, and you have so much going on. And even though everyone goes through the same thing, not everyone goes through the same thing emotionally. Some things can happen to certain people, and some people will take it harder, and they have an opinion on it. They have feelings. Do not block those feelings out. You are worth talking to. You are worth being heard. And every single person is unique in their own way. And I feel like we block that off from so many different experiences and people. Do not be afraid. Be yourself. Be the best version of you. And maybe the best version of you is opening up more, or finding more reasons to open up more. I would like to give that opportunity to talk about how you feel. And I am more than willing to listen. I could sit here and say nothing. And if it's just something you want to do and something you want to talk about, then I am all ears. So, thank you for listening. I'm going to add a song in the description, and I'll see you next time.